All right, and we are live. Awesome. All
Oh,
right, so guys, I am very excited for this interview. Uh, I actually ran into her on Instagram, and I realized how young she was, and it just kind of caught my eye. So I thought we could do an interview and kind of get to know her and what she has to bring to the table. So, as you guys know, this is a new expression where change happens only with a new expression. My name is Caleb, and Maureen, why don't you introduce yourself?
so my name is Maureen Heck, and I'm a 16-year-old entrepreneur, and I focus on personal branding and self-development.
Yes, and for the people that are watching this video, if you guys are into my channel, you guys know that I'm all about personal development. I'm all about personal branding. I'm an entrepreneur myself. Although I'm not 16, which is astounding. The fact that you are 16 and that you were so young doing this.
I mean, you're so young yourself, 20. That's like
No,
nothing.
20 makes me feel old. Like we talked about this last night, but it really does make me feel old. And it's just great to see that there's people at such a young age doing this, at the age of 16. Like that's amazing. You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I love that in general. Like it's kind of like a movement that I've noticed
Uh,
that so many like young entrepreneurs and young people getting into these fields. And I think that's just incredible.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. I
Awesome.
love being part of that.
Right, right. It's awesome. I love that. So kind of in this interview, I kind of wanted to just talk about personal branding, personal development also, because I think that's very important. And
Hmm.
yeah, just try to add as much value as much as possible to our audience, you know?
Always.
Yeah. So my first question for you is, how did you get started with like your personal development journey? I know we talked about this a little bit last night, but just to let my audience know and your audience know, just kind of your backstory and how you got involved with
Well, basically, I believe I was probably around 13 or 14, something like that.
that.
And, you know, I was at a pretty like low point in my life and I wanted to change my circumstances.
Mm,
But I realized that I was limiting myself. So I was trying to, stop limiting myself in
mm,
order to improve myself and improve my circumstances with that.
And that's great. That's awesome. 13 and 14. That is amazing. I keep going back to the age thing, but that's honestly amazing. And I think a point that a lot of people could relate to is the fact that you got into personal development. I know we talked about this was you got into it because you were in a low period in your life,
Hmm.
and I think when you're in a low period in your life, it makes you really understand that you don't want to live the rest of your life like that, and that there's a better way
Definitely.
to live life. And that's amazing. It's honestly amazing to hear that.
Yeah, like
Um,
you said yesterday as well, the quotes when like change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
I
that's
think that's
amazing.
a really great quote to remember.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I stand by, and that's great that you put that out there because anyone watching, that is true. That
It is so true.
the desire has to be there, and I think that's a big aspect of a lot of people that are successful nowadays. Is like they have the desire to change, and
Mhm.
it far exceeds the feeling of just being comfortable. Like you have to. It's going to be uncomfortable in order to change, but in order for you to change, you need to get past that. And what's going to take you there is your desire, because it's you desire it so much that you would do anything at that point.
Yeah, and I think one way to also use that to your advantage is sometimes um, to realize, what kind of pain you would be able to feel. So, for example, let's say
Mhm,
you are insecure and that's holding you back.
mhm,
Then, once you realize, like, really put into perspective, like, what kind of pain can come from the consequences,
mhm.
that can also push you to overcome that as well.
Yes. Would you like to, if you don't mind sharing, the network thing that you told me that you kind of applied that role to yourself?
Of course. So basically, I've always been pretty shy,
Mm,
and um, yeah, like I told you before, I was like a year, like my first networking event was in October,
mm.
and like a year before, like an entire year before that, I only met with people my age once because I had to take like a standardized test for school.
Right, right.
um, So yeah, I really didn't know how I would, feel in that sort of situation.
Mm,
So, um, when I was at the event, I think I did pretty well. But one reason for that was because I rather just I would rather just go up to someone and start a conversation
mm.
than just standing like at a networking event looking stupid, not
Yeah,
talking to anyone.
yeah, yeah. That is,
So
yeah.
so I'm like
Yeah.
just kind of seeing which pain outweighs the other.
And that's exactly, you use that example like perfectly there. It was either you stand there by yourself, which is comfortable, that's more comfortable than having to meet new people, because it can get
Mhm.
nerve-wracking trying to network and try to meet new people. But the desire and the willing to want to meet new people was greater than just being comfortable and content. So I think
Mhm.
that was a great example, and that kind of just went well with the quote or the phrase. So
Mhm.
that's great. So another thing that I would like to talk about, could you talk about kind of the importance of your personal brand, and why you think, for the audience that is watching right now, why you think everyone should have a personal brand, and why you think that's so important, especially in our day and age?
I feel like personal branding, you just can't go wrong with it, no matter in what field you are. You just like being able to make a brand out of your name is so powerful.
Mhm,
And like even like someone, let's say someone is in, business, like has a business to business.
mhm.
Um, business. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
for example, like social media marketing,
yeah.
um, you know, personal branding can be super, super helpful. Like even though maybe you think you don't need to have a big audience to do social media marketing. But if you have that influence, if you have that audience,
Mhm,
you attract your clients instead of you cold calling or looking for clients.
mhm,
Right.
mhm,
So it's a great way to get credibility, to get clients,
mhm.
like they say, like power over force, instead of forcing yourself onto people. You want them to come to you.
Yeah.
And um, also, it's just also a great way to network. If you have an audience, and other people who are like higher level might also be willing to network with you.
Mhm,
So you
mhm,
can make great connections. And
mhm,
also, like I said, like if I were to define personal branding, I would say personal branding is the ability to make an impact and an income using a passion or a skill.
mhm.
And if that doesn't sound amazing to you, I don't know what does. Like,
Yeah, if you guys are watching this, that doesn't sound interesting to you.
mhm,
Like, come on, like that to me is what brought me into personal branding, was
mhm.
the fact that you're able to make money off of your passion. And
Yeah,
I really love that. But
it's amazing. I think we all have something to teach. If you have some sort of skill or some sort of passion, we all have something to teach.
yeah. Mhm.
And sometimes, many times, we feel like we don't, but we don't realize um, how some things that seem normal to us because we're used to doing them are actually really new and impactful for other people.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you said that. I actually, I could relate that to myself. Was like I was doing a lot of great things with
Mhm,
business and personal brand and kind of personal development. And
mhm,
I never thought much about it. I never thought that it was, you know, impactful, or that I could like change someone's life with the material that I was learning. Because what you said, like you're doing it every day, so you're kind of used to it, and you don't really have like an outside perspective on what you're doing.
mhm,
And I truly love what you said. That that everyone has something that they can teach, no matter who you are.
mhm.
Everyone has something that they're good at, and something that they enjoy, and
Yeah,
that's all you need for a personal brand.
yeah, it's all you need. It's
Yeah.
all you need to get started with a personal brand. Obviously, like I just want to add that just having like some sort of skill, or like just kind of knowing about something isn't like really enough. Like obviously you have to really focus on that one skill so
Mhm.
that you are able to stand out from the crowd as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
But everyone has that passion or something that they can share once they get deeper into that.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. If you guys can't, she is 16 years old, guys. And for you guys that don't know me, I have a little brother that's 16 years old too, and he doesn't like not so bad. I love him to death,
Mhm.
but it's so fascinating that you're that young and that you're able to have um just such a good head on your shoulders and just so much knowledge. It's honestly great. It's honestly great.
That's really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, I mean that's a great point. And another point that I wanted to say was that um, like nowadays, I feel like, or I know that your personal brand is like your resume. Like that
Mm,
is your job
absolutely.
resume. Like that will get
Mhm.
you any job. Like a lot of the jobs in the present day, they go to your social media to see who you are. Your
Mhm.
social media defines who you are. It shows what you do on a Friday, Saturday night. It shows behind the scenes, and it shows your true colors. And if you're able to build a personal brand for yourself, if you're able to build a name and an area of topic that you're passionate about, that rubs off to whoever you're trying to get a job with. That is your resume. That it's like the old form of a resume with a paper and what jobs you worked before. That's going to be non-existent. It's going to be really your social media and your personal brand that's going to bring value to whoever you want to get a job with.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you here. I mean, it definitely depends on the job, but many like industries or many like jobs fields that are, more modern
Mhm.
really pay attention to that. Even if you're like in show business or something, especially then people like to see what you're like personally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, yeah. I
Mhm.
totally agree with that. And that's a really good point. Let's see. So we talked about personal branding. Let me. So they know the importance, and I truly want the audience to know the importance of a personal brand, guys. If even if you think you're too young, like she's 16 years old. And you're not too young to start this. Even
Definitely.
if you don't, and I know this is a point that I wanted to make was when I was starting out with this journey with personal branding, I didn't think I was skilled enough or capable enough to actually make videos and actually talk about topics that I
Mhm.
wanted to talk about. But really, your personal brand, you don't have to be specialized in anything. What in the beginning phases, you can just document your journey. Document your journey, like
Mhm.
document everything you're doing on a day-to-day basis, and really just put that out there for everyone to see. And that adds value.
Yeah, really, there are really no requirements for personal brand. Like,
Yeah.
um, you either have to be like really like skilled or passionate, like real good at something,
Mhm,
or you just have to have a great personality. That might just be enough as well.
mhm, mhm. And yeah, and there's also so maybe let's say for example, maybe there's somebody that doesn't have a personality whatsoever, and they're not skilled or mastered at anything. What would you have to say to them?
Well, I mean, just do something, right? Just try things, try many things, see what you like, and it's just nothing's going to change
Mhm,
unless you do.
yeah.
Like, if you're just, I think this quote, insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting different results.
Mm,
So I would say that if you don't know what to do, just try out different things and see what you like and see just, what do you have to lose?
yes, yes, that's great. Who was that quote by? I forget who
I think Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein, right,
Yeah.
right. And I don't know if you actually heard a story where he tried 10,000 times to figure out electricity, right, or the light bulb. He
Yeah, I
tried
think
10,000 times.
yeah.
That's
I
fascinating.
don't think that was Albert Einstein, but I think it is something like that. Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But I know there was one person who tried to like do the light bulb something, and he found I think he said he found, I believe, 10,000 ways that didn't work. Instead of saying
yeah,
he failed 10,000 times, he found 10,000 ways
yes,
that didn't work.
yes, yes, and that's what I wanted to get at. You kind of beat me to that. But yeah, that's another topic I want to get into is your mindset. Obviously, he had a good you needed a strong mindset in order to do something 10,000 times and to not get a result 10,000 times. You need that kind of mindset, and that's what it takes to be successful. You're gonna have a lot of
Absolutely.
times and days where you don't achieve anything or that you don't see the result that you want. But
Mhm.
if you have the mindset that you're learning and that when you fail, it's not, I don't like to use the word failing, right? You're just finding a new way to do something else. You know that doesn't work. So then, you find one way that works and you keep doing that. It's just a matter of trial and error. And I love that.
Absolutely. I think I like one thing that I tell myself is that whenever something doesn't work out, it's just first of all, that is kind of like a test to see whether you are worthy of achieving that thing. Because people who are not will stop, and then they obviously want to achieve it.
Yeah.
So it's can view it as a test, and also I think what if you just tried it one more time? Like what if like he did it like the 9,999th time and he gave up then?
Yeah.
He just was just supposed to try one more time. And that
Yeah.
goes back to the story. Have you heard the like 3 feet from gold?
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich,
Yes.
where they said like one person was trying to um, find gold,
Mhm.
and he stopped 3 feet from it because there was some sort of um, natural thing that happened there, and then someone else tried it, and he got someone professional, and they found it. So basically, sometimes it just gets really hard just before you actually like break through.
Yes. Yes. That's a great point. Thank you for that. That was amazing. And that's, I think that will add a lot of value to whoever's watching. That it's you never want to give up, because you truly never know when you'll be successful. You
I
could
agree.
be that one, like she was talking about, that one last try.
Mhm.
You're one last try short, but yet, if you quit before that, you'll never know, if you could be successful or not. You
Exactly.
could have been successful.
Exactly. Like that's also one thing for me. I don't ever want to ask myself, what if I did that? I just rather just do it and find out. I don't want to ask myself, what if?
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be 9 years old and on your deathbed and you're like, oh my God, I wish I started that personal brand, or
Yeah.
I wish I started that business, or I wish I would have treated my parents better, or whatever that
Mhm.
might be. You never want to have that regret. And
Absolutely. Regret is the worst.
yes, yes. And that's why, and that makes me live life on edge. I constantly want to be taking risks and I constantly want to be pushing myself because,
Mhm.
I never want to, like you said, I never want to look back in life and ask, what if I did that? I want to look back and be like, I did that, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I.
Yeah, and even if it didn't go well, at least you know now.
Yeah, at least yeah, exactly. And that's what we meant by the 10,000 tries. It's like that mindset that you tried it. If it doesn't work, try something
Mhm.
else. Keep trying until you have the result that you want. That's the only way you can really find something out, if it works or not.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so that's great. So to the audience out there, could you explain how important you think, or how much of an impact you think personal development could make in your life, and how it kind of impacted your life and how it kind of changed your
Mhm.
life, from being at like a low stage in life to now being a great 16-year-old that you are now.
Thank you. So, I cannot stress the importance of personal development enough. Like, it's just, you have to constantly grow. And for me, I've just been, like, how did I get into it? Like I said, I wanted to improve myself.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't read many books on it. I didn't watch many videos on it. I'm going to be completely honest. Like I said before, much of the conclusions that came to were from analyzing my actions or
Mhm.
experience and stuff like that. And I wouldn't 100% recommend that because sometimes it's better to learn from others' mistakes than learning from your own mistakes because it's
Yes,
faster.
yes.
But at the same time, I feel like it makes me look at personal development from a slightly different perspective because
Mhm.
um, it wasn't just like a passion for me. It was a lifestyle. Like I constantly thought about improving myself. Like it was constantly on my mind.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is because I just couldn't stand the thought of limiting myself.
Mhm.
Um, like personally, like I always believed in my abilities to make things happen. I just sometimes like didn't take action.
Mhm.
So I just couldn't stand the thought of limiting myself and once again asking myself, what if I did that? What if I,
Right.
yeah, like for me, like one major limitation was discipline. It was like the
Yes.
biggest one for me.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but it just personal development is just so huge, and just these concepts. I feel like these things should be taught in every school. Like it's
Yes.
mind blowing to me that this is not taught in schools.
I know. Oh my God. I talk about this. That that like it blows my mind. That school would teach history, right, or English or math, and they wouldn't have the topic of personal development. Like, why? That is
It's
becoming your best
insane.
self. Like that. To build character. Like school should be teaching how to build characters, your morals, your values, or your belief system, how
Yeah.
you treat other people, just all of that stuff that brings like real value in a person. I think that.
Like it just, mhm.
Go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead.
It just makes me
I
think,
was
what are
rambling.
their, yeah, it just makes me think, what are their priorities? You see all of those suicide rates and everything. Like, why aren't they, teaching some of that stuff, which is like so huge? Like, just the realization of your thoughts determine your surroundings, like your circumstances. That's just
Mm,
a huge realization. Like, that's something that I've for the first time heard when I read Think and Grow Rich. And honestly, at that time, I didn't really get the hype about Think and Grow Rich when I read it. I was like 14 or something.
mm,
But now looking back, I really realized that it really pushed me in the right direction because of simply that one concept, that
mm.
one realization.
Yes,
And yeah.
it's amazing. It's honestly amazing. And yeah, I mean those were all good points that you put out there. And yeah, I mean, if a school person or school board is watching this, please, please put in. I mean, that's like a vision of mine. I want to be able to reform the school system. Like I truly believe that they could be doing better things. In along the lines of that personal development and all of that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that was great. I think, I hope you guys got some value out of that. If you guys are watching, that the importance of personal development, and you've seen the change that it brought into her life, and the
It's
amount
huge.
of value that it brought.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's so huge, and I think it's a vision of mine, and I believe it's a vision of yours to spread around this topic and to show the importance of it. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
yeah,
I cannot put into words of how just huge personal branding is. Like, I
yeah,
mean, personal development. Like,
yeah,
it's just I cannot put into words. It's just
mm,
you just do it,
yeah.
it will change your life.
Yeah, it will. It really will. And there's. I mean, I would like to talk about like there's people that like I like to think of personal development as just reaching your best self, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in all areas of your life, like spiritual, physical, uh,
Absolutely.
emotional, financially, just in all areas of your life, you want to improve and just become better than what you were yesterday, right?
Absolutely.
And that's really what it is. And it's sad to see people that are let's say 50 or 60 where they're still kind of the same that they were when they were a kid. Not to say that's a bad
Exactly.
thing, but they don't improve and they stay stagnant. And I really believe if you're stagnant, you're going downhill. It doesn't matter if you're not benefiting yourself. It doesn't matter if you're going downhill. If you are staying stagnant and
Yeah.
flatline, you are basically going downhill because everyone else
You'll
is
be miserable.
basically going up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because
it's important.
if if you're like, that's like my worst thing. Like, um if you're like stagnant, it means you're comfortable, right? You're in a comfort zone because
Yes,
that's you do what you're used to.
yes,
But I think Tyler Lopez said that where you're comfortable, you broke. And it's not just like broke financially, because obviously that's one part, but also you will feel miserable because you need growth in order to
mhm,
be alive.
yes, yes. And let me ask you a question, Maureen. To the audience out there, you said that that in order to change, you need to be able to step out of what's comfortable to you, right? Stepping outside of your comfort zone, doing things that you're not comfortable doing. And to my audience, what would you like if somebody, let's say somebody is in their comfort zone, right? They
Mhm.
have this burning desire. They want to change. They want to change their life. They want to, change themselves. And but they're so scared to jump outside of their comfort zone. They're so scared to get into what's uncomfortable to them.
Mhm.
What kind of advice would you say to them, and kind of just kind of tips that you could give them in order to jump outside of their comfort zone?
Mhm. I mean, I like that you brought that up. I feel like you said they're scared to jump to get go out of their comfort zone.
Mhm.
So I think one way to look at it is just look at it as a game. You know, just try to push yourself. Just jump out of the plane as much as you can. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. So yeah, look at it as like a game. And the second thing I would say is fear. Like so much of fear is just based in our minds.
Mhm.
Like I mean, obviously there are like I think you can think of it as someone who is climbing up a mountain. There are people who are afraid of heights and there are people who are not afraid of heights. Now, although you can say it,
I'm scared
yes,
of heights.
although there are, obviously like survival instincts, right?
Yes.
Um, because the people who are not scared of heights, they use their subconscious to suppress that fear. So, um, so the way they do that is they believe they're not afraid of heights, and so you have to believe that you're not afraid. You have to believe that. And that way, your subconscious basically overrides that fear. And I feel like a great example for that from my own experience.
Mhm.
Basically, I always told myself I'm afraid of heights, right? I always like I
Yeah.
said that I identified myself with it.
Yes.
So basically, I was on a ski lift, and um, I I was in a ski lift. I was kind of like freaking out, right? I wasn't going crazy, but I was visibly scared.
Uh,
And yeah, so like about halfway through, I told myself, okay, let's just pretend I'm not scared. Let's just pretend I'm completely fine. And in an instant, a second, I was just completely calm. I was just talking to a person, and it just goes to show like how it's all about what you tell yourself.
yeah.
Like I was just like the way back, I was completely fine,
Mhm.
and that's because I stopped saying, okay, I'm afraid of heights, so that's why I have to act like I'm afraid of heights.
Mhm. So it's kind of that belief or that thought that was going through your head, right? That storyline that was going through your head that
Mhm.
made you feel like you were afraid of heights.
Yeah, because obviously, like when you believe something, your subconscious will try to validate your belief.
Yeah.
So it will do that by making you act a certain way in order to make that true.
Yes. 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 That is a great point. That was wow. That's amazing. I actually never even thought about it like that.
Really.
Um, but that's a great point. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna like that and hopefully use that. Because that seems very powerful. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I just kind of wanted to relate to that story was, uh, with with trying to change like a circumstance when you're trying to change your comfort zone, right?
Mhm.
I know I struggled with this. I really struggled with getting outside of my comfort zone. It was too scary for me.
Mhm.
Whether that be going out to talk to people, or just public speaking or whatever that might
Mhm.
be. Any fears that I have, and there's the people that are watching right now. Everyone has fears.
Mhm.
We all have our own fears. It might not be the same fears, but there's no one out there that doesn't have a fear. Everyone has a fear. So it's a
Mhm.
matter of, because I think a lot of people, they think that the most successful people don't have any fears, and that's why they're successful. And it makes them stop. It makes them stay stagnant because they believe,
Mhm.
oh yeah, I had these fears and I'm not allowed to be successful. But no, it's the other way around. A lot of these successful people have fears, but the thing that separates
Mhm.
them was that they
Control.
had the courage to look fear in the face and
Mhm.
say that it's not going to control their life anymore. That fear is not going to control their life anymore, and that way they overcame it. And a quote that I like to say is, It's like what was it? It was like it's not it's not a matter of not having a fear, but it's acknowledging that you do have a fear, but taking action anyways. That's real courage.
Yes,
That's real
absolutely.
courage. And it takes a lot of gut, it takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of commitment, but
Mhm.
that is truly how you're gonna step outside your comfort zone. You know?
100%.
Yes. Yes.
I think just generally you have to, when it comes to fear, you have to put things in perspective and like once again figure out, what is what is the worst thing that can happen if you do that?
Yes.
And what is the worst thing that can happen if you don't do that? So let's say you want to public speak. Um, if you do that worst thing, maybe they will judge you, maybe you mess up or whatever. Then if you don't do that, you might not change a person's life or you might not become successful
Mm,
or whatever,
mm,
You have to put things in perspective and see which one outweighs which one. And like I said before, like life is all about making the right choices. So most of the time, we already know what the right choice is. So why not just do that? You know?
yes. Yes. And uh, it's great that you said that. Another point I wanted to ask you. So I love what you said about life is about making choices because I really believe that, and I
Mm-hmm.
really believe that your results come down to the very small decisions that you make
Mm-hmm.
every single second of your life, right? Whether that decision might be, should I go out and party with my friends and drink and smoke, or should I stay at home and maybe work on my business or work on myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going out and partying, like all those small mundane decisions that you make that you come across to every single day. I think we make about 1,000 decisions every single day, and those decisions add up. So another thing I wanted to say was, or ask you is, how you were able to make better decisions and how you kind of, because I think a lot of people know that what the right decision is.
Mm-hmm.
They obviously know if something's a good choice or not, but I think a lot of things stop them from doing that, whether that be habits or limiting beliefs or whatever that might be. So, what advice do you have to those people that feel like they're stuck? They know what they have to do, but they're stuck
Mm-hmm.
in their position as of right now.
Yeah, I love that you asked that question because that comes down to discipline. And that was, like I said, one of my major limitations.
Yes.
So the way I overcame that, I had like kind of like a breakthrough moment. And that was I was talking to someone and there was something I was supposed to do and I didn't do.
Mm,
So I said, yeah, I'm trying to be more disciplined now. And at that moment it just hit me. I just realized, didn't I say the exact same thing a couple months ago? And what
yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
Like I just got mad at myself. Like you just wasted all of these months and you just still said the same thing you said months ago.
Yeah.
And at that point, I told myself, you're never going to say I'm trying to be more disciplined ever again. Okay.
Mm,
And um, so that was one thing. That was one realization. I just got sick of. I just got sick of it.
mm,
And then also because I think it's when it comes to like discipline and not doing the things that you are supposed to do, it's a lot you're really like stuck in your head and you're basically allowing that worst version of yourself
mm,
to take control. And I think so the way I overcame that was, okay, first of all, I used to say that I'm not disciplined. That's the first mistake. If you tell yourself I'm not this, then you're not this. Like
yeah.
the man who says he can and the man who says he can are both right.
Mm,
And so that is one thing. And so what I did was, instead of now saying I am disciplined, I didn't even do that. What I did was instead I started saying I started identifying myself with a change.
mm,
So I didn't identify myself. I identified myself with a characteristic. I identified myself with a change. So what I said instead was, at one point I wasn't disciplined, but now I am.
mm,
And the reason for that is I think that if I want to be disciplined, right, I have to think like a disciplined person.
mm,
So a disciplined person is not going to put an extraordinary large amount of attention on something that they already are.
mm,
So I started identifying myself with a change instead. And that way, obviously, like I said before, then your brain will try to validate your belief. So you will improve.
Mhm.
That's one thing. And also another thing that I've also realized is when I said that sentence, I'm trying to be more disciplined, is trying. Don't say try, because I'm trying to be something that I have complete control over, you know?
Mm.
That just means like I think trying is just preparation for, like saying you're trying is preparation for failure,
Mm.
because you're basically setting lower expectations for yourself to meet because you don't truly believe that you are going to achieve that thing. So if you don't believe in yourself, then you're always not going to achieve it. So if you realize, if you catch yourself saying that you're trying,
Mm.
that's a really good indicator that you are have some sort of limiting belief, or you're not believing in yourself.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, that was amazing that you even knew that. I'm curious, did you learn that from a certain person, or did you kind of just have the self-awareness to kind of learn that for yourself?
No, I kind of just, like I said, I analyzed a lot, and I kind of just, I thought about it constantly. It's just conclusions that I came to over the time.
That I mean, that's amazing. That's what sticks out to me a lot is like your ability to have the self-awareness in yourself.
Mhm.
Because I think it's hard. I think it's hard to even, be able to realize that and to be able to analyze yourself in a way that you did. And I think that
I
contributes
appreciate
a lot to your
that.
success.
I appreciate that a lot. I think self-awareness is just huge. I mean,
Mhm.
at the same time, it comes with pain, which is why so many people try to avoid being self-aware, because you are going to feel pain, but that pain is also going to push you to greater heights.
Yes, yes. And so I'd like to kind of dive into that self-awareness, because I do relate with that, because when I reflect on myself, I look at all the things I did in the past, let's say week, and I'm like, shit, like I am like I kind of bash myself for it. I was like, I
Mhm.
could have done better. I could have done this better. I could have disciplined myself better in this area, and it can be very demoralizing in a way, and but that's I feel like that's part of the process. You don't have to bash yourself for it. You don't have to judge yourself for it, but just become aware that you are lacking focus in this area, or that you're lacking discipline in this area, and just the awareness of that.
Yeah. I mean, I would say to that, I would say definitely, like, obviously you have to be aware of it, and you have to realize, okay, you're doing something wrong, and then you have to see how can I improve on that, and then but you have to, instead of bashing on yourself, accept it and grow, because there is no growth in judgment. Like if you just bash yourself constantly, there's no growth in that. You have to accept and grow.
Mm.
And so one thing I would not recommend to, over think on those mistakes. Like to be too strict on yourself, because that will cause your brain to become uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and that will want it to go back to its comfort zone, and then it will try to, like, it will help you come up with excuses.
Mm.
So I mean, I wouldn't say judge yourself or be too hard on yourself. Just approach those new habits, new ideas with um, ease, like ease into it. But be aware and be aware, analyze, and grow. Accept and
Yes.
grow.
Yes. And so I'm curious, do you journal all of this? Like all the things that you're aware about?
Do I write them down?
Yeah, do you write them down? Do you log them in a computer? Like how do you keep track of your progress and like kind of the self-awareness in yourself?
I mean, over the years of like where I really, really focused on self-development, I didn't write these things down. It was just kind of happening like in my head. I was just kind of just thinking, and then coming to the next conclusion, and then going from there. I then decided to write them down, which got me also into personal development and personal branding. So I decided to share those things with other people as well.
That's awesome.
But yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yes.
But I
And
think it would definitely, I'm sorry.
no, go
I
ahead.
think it would definitely be a great idea to write those things down. So I think something that some people do is, at the end of the day, they write down what they have done well and what they didn't do well. But
Mm.
they make sure to write down more things that have done well than not.
Yes.
And then they try to improve on exactly those things the next day. I think that's a great way. I've used that before as well. So write down what you didn't do well, and then the next day make sure to pay attention to that and improve on those things.
That's awesome. I think if somebody does that every single day and they do that for a year, I think you're just your self awareness and yourself is gonna change, and when you're that self aware, right? When you're journaling all these things down, there's no way you can't change because you're becoming
Absolutely.
aware of it every single day. It's just a matter of when you take action to actually change what you want to change.
Mm,
You know,
absolutely.
yeah, that's awesome. That's great. Because that was a really big point that I realized that stood out to me with you was your self awareness is just, especially at the age of 16, is just it's immense. There's so much self awareness. And that's amazing. So kind of to wrap up this video, uh, what would you know if you had to give one advice, and I don't like to, I know you have a jumble of all this advice that you could give out. What would you give one advice for somebody that truly wants to change their life, that really wants to make change happen and they're just stuck? I know we talked about this, but just one advice that could wrap up all the knowledge that we talked about today and just could wrap it up into just one, whatever you want to say, into one conversation.
That's a hard question. Like one advice, it's a hard question. What I would say is, yeah, let me just take that out. Sorry. Yeah, what I would say is, um, focus on your mind, but get out of your head.
Mhm.
What I mean by that is you have to, be aware of yourself, be aware of your thoughts, especially be aware of what you're thinking, but don't get stuck in your head.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that would be it.
That's actually funny that you said that because that's probably what I would say too. And what we talked about, when you change your thoughts, you change your reality, right? When you
Absolutely,
change your
100%.
mindset, when you change what's up here, everything outside of you changes. And I truly believe that. And the premise of personal development, I really think, is becoming aware and self-aware of the thoughts that you're having, and the mindset and the beliefs that you're having, because that's what really takes you far in life. And that's really the premise of that. And I really,
100%.
and I have so many videos on my YouTube channel because I truly believe that that's the way somebody could really make change happen in their life.
100%. I couldn't agree more with that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a person, I always like to look at things logically. So I
Yes.
know that, many people, so many times they think like law of attraction, you have to think something and somehow magically it will come into your life.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I think to look at it like a logical reasoning for how
Yeah.
your thoughts determine your reality is, obviously if your thoughts determine the choices you make, like we said before, the choices determine your actions, and your actions determine your reality.
Yeah.
So definitely, like your thoughts just determine your reality in the end.
Yes. That is the end. So anyone that is watching, that really is. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more to it. If you want to change your life, there's skills that you're going to have to need, but that is the premise of it. In order to change your life, you have to change your thoughts, you have to change your beliefs, you have to change your mindset, you have to change yourself before you change anything outside of you.
Yes, 100%.
So thank you so much, Maureen. I really appreciate the time that you set out for this.
No problem. It's an honor for me to be
Yes,
here.
yes, and guys, go follow her, Maureen Heck. I'll have it in the description below so they can follow you on social media. She has a great social media following and just great material and content that you guys would definitely want to look into. And yeah, I just want to thank you so much. An aspiring 16-year-old that is going to do big things, and I truly mean that. And yeah, thank you so much.
No, I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best as well. I thank you so much for being here. And it was honestly amazing. I
Yes,
love the conversation. And I hope that for the people watching, I hope you were able to take something out of it. If you did, please, let me know. Send me a DM.
yes.
And, I'd love to talk to you. Um, yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. And hey, listen, me too. Ask me any questions, shoot me DMs. I will be more than willing to talk to you guys. We are really here to bring change to you guys. We were talking about this last night, and that's really our vision. We want to help you guys, and we want to, improve ourselves, but also improve the life of other people, because we understand the importance that this brought to us, and the
Yes,
personal development, personal branding, everything, just all these things that added up and that changed our lives, and we want to share that with you guys.
absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I don't want to hold you back anymore, but thank you so much, guys. If you guys want to follow her, it'll be in the description below. And yeah, guys, have a great one. And thank you so much, Maureen.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.